Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, wanting to take a look at the Star Wars The Black Series, Professor Huyang from the Ahsoka series. He was an amazing one-off character for that arc in the Clone Wars, and I was so happy to see him get brought into the Ahsoka series. One of those characters where we wondered what happened to him, and while the Ahsoka series didn't tell, it's nice to know that the old professor is still around. It's a figure that I've been pretty excited for. He's an essential part of the core crew, and I hope that he lives up to the hype. So let's get into the review and see if he's a worthy addition to the collection. Alright, here's Professor Huyang in the packaging. Let's go ahead and start by looking at the packaging. Up top, you have your Star Wars The Black Series logo above a big window showing the Professor and his accessories off nicely. Down here you have Star Wars Ahsoka in that light blue, his name Professor Huyang in light blue, warning 4+ Hasbro. This side of the box features some really cool artwork of him standing there on his data pad with his arms doing stuff up above him, his name down at the bottom. Around this side features your wraparound window, your wraparound blue stripe, your Black Series logo. Around back features your Black Series logo again, the zoom in of his artwork, his name, a bio in varying languages, not about him, but about the show. Come on, Hasbro, show's over. Let's talk about the droid. Number 7 in the Ahsoka lineup, got a bunch of legal stuff, Disney, Hasbro, barcode, and legal stuff down below. Up top is a hanger tab and a little window, which allows a little bit of light into the packaging, should you choose to keep your figures in the box. I don't. I like to play with my toys, so let's open them up and see what we're getting here. Alright, here's Professor Huyang and most of his accessories. I have to tell you, I am disgusted and infuriated with myself. The beginning of these videos, I do my figure photography. Well, most days when I get home from work after this time shift that's recently happened, it's dark, so I have to take my figure photography either with a green screen, but I don't really like how that looks. There's always a green hue. So I like to just go outside, when I can. And so I took these photos over the weekend, and Professor Huyang comes with this little training lightsaber hilt, and it's a very, very loose fit in his hands. And when posing him in that one photo of him up in the tree, I was going to have him wielding it, and he fell, and that hilt is gone. I don't know where it went, but I'm sorry. I feel like a hack. I feel like I'm not bringing you a true, complete review. So I apologize. I'm going to include a photo of it. It had some neat details on it. I will also say that it's an accessory I was never going to pose him with. I was going to prefer the datapad accessory. But yeah, I'm upset. So, incomplete review up front. I'm sorry. So, besides that missing lightsaber accessory, he comes with his data pad, which looks very nice. It's in the similar tan-colored plastic that the figure itself is made from, with some nice metallic blue punch-ins on the side, and then a little bit of gray up here. Kind of like a reflective gloss gray for the screen. I really like how this turned out. Unlike the training lightsaber, he holds it very snugly. It is nice and secure and not going anywhere. I dropped him in the woods a few times holding that, and that never went anywhere. Now, they pack this in as an accessory. This is not an accessory. This is actually his back arms. As you see, he has a peg and these little nubbins here, and they kind of just all nest together. It's a very snug fit. These feature some very nice articulation with 3 points on each arm. One here, and one here. And you can get them to raise up over his head. They are useless because these hands don't feature any sort of grabbing ability. They're very flimsy, very rubbery, and they don't have the ability to grip anything. So you can kind of have them, like reaching for stuff up over his head or, grabbing drawers behind him, but you can't actually have him like holding lightsabers or anything with them. So that kind of sucks. So honestly, I'm probably just going to leave them closed up. But, I'm glad that they included them. But as useless as they are, they could have been static. But obviously then people would have been like, but he has 4 arms. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. Alright. Looking at the Professor here. I really like this droid design. It's a little bit of a frustrating action figure. But just run through some details. He is not painted exactly as he was in the Ahsoka series. He actually more closely represents his animated Clone Wars appearance here. Obviously, some of these Ahsoka characters were made using concept art. We see that horribly with Merrick, Shinhati, and Balin Skull. That they just were rushed and made with concept art. And Huyang, I think, has been hit by that a little bit. However, since he looks kind of like his Clone Wars appearance, I'm willing to forgive it. It's kind of an amalgamation of all Huyangs. He doesn't really have any metallic shine to him. He is just in a kind of sand, kind of gray tan color. I do really like it. It looks very good, and I look at him, I'm like, hey, that's Professor Huyang, and I don't really see anything that screams wrong to me. So, other than some coloring, which is acceptable. I accept it. It's not amazing, but I accept it. The punch-ins that are required are done very well. He has the nice shiny gold eyes. He has that kind of like copper visor with a little like magnifier there, which just looks amazing. It's not flipped down, unfortunately, but it's so little that would be so delicate. I understand why it's not. He has these kind of like copper brown, like painted sections like along the hinges and at the joints. It looks very nice. It's very different than your standard droid. Usually they'll be the same color, or they'll be a silver or a gray. He's kind of coppery. Makes him look very old, and he is. He's supposedly thousands of years old. And 75% original parts? So good on him. I mean, great shape, man. You have your 3PO, wired, mid-abdomen area. It looks very, very Star Warsy. I love that. And I really love his apron here. He looks like he works on things a lot, and he needs all his tool pouches, and just looks very, very good. The legs are very nice. I like how there's kind of like the inner pieces that are plated over in the tan color. It's just such a cool design. He's very spindly, and just, I look at this guy and I see a really cool figure. Now, something that I don't really like is mine seems to always lean a little to his right. And the articulation can be a little clunky on him. I'm going to be 100%. Between things being loose and then just him being very skinny leads to him being top heavy. This is a design that doesn't translate to action figures amazingly, I have to say. He's going to have to be blue tacked down to the shelf, which I do to all my figures anyway, because I hate resetting shelves. But let's run through some articulation. I showed you what the backpack does. He has the double ball neck system, which allows him to look that far up, which is pretty good. He can look pretty far down. He can do some side to side and get a ton of pivot for all that attitude he has. His arms come up to a T-pose. There's no butterfly joint in there, however. He features a 360 degree at the shoulder. There's no bicep swivel, but he has single jointed elbows that go to 90 and then swivel there. No forearm swivel. He can 360 at the wrists, and then both wrists hinge in and out. That matches the design as seen on screen. There wouldn't have been any way to give him a vertical hinge. I accept it. He features a waist ball joint. It's not like a mid-torso. It's actually down at the waist. You can crunch that far forward, that far back. He has some great side-to-side and rotation. His legs can only kick out that far. They can go straight forward, basically. They can go back pretty far. There's no upper thigh rotation, but he has single-jointed knees, and it can rotate at the top and right below the knee. So that really eliminates any need for thigh rotation. His feet can point that far down, only that far forward. That is terrible. And then he features a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get him in some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the floor. I've also noticed that the ankles tend to be a little bit loose to where, he's very fiddly. I don't dislike the figure, but he definitely has some quirks. Let's go ahead and run through some size comparisons. Here he is next to Ahsoka. Here he is next to Sabine Wren from the series. Here he is next to Hera as she appears in the series. And here he is next to Merrick, our only real bad guy from the series so far. He stands taller than everyone else, even Merrick, just by a little bit. I feel that's accurate. He's a very spindly, very tall droid. And yeah, all in all, I think he scales nicely, and I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, so end of the day, what do I think of Professor Huyang? He's a little frustrating. He's a little finicky. I'm angry I lost my lightsaber accessory. But I really like the figure. Look, he's an essential character to the Ahsoka series. He's a member of the core team we follow throughout. If you have any sort of little Ahsoka display going on within your collection, he's essential. You can't just not put him there. The likeness to David Tennant is striking. It's just incredibly well done, and I'm really, really happy with this. It is such a good figure that I'm likely going to try and get one signed by David Tennant at a con in the future. Already met him, so he'd be doubling up at that point. But I'm just really happy with how this turned out. It's well done, although inaccurate in places. But do I recommend him? Yeah, he's a headache, but he's worth the headache, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go work on some other videos. Thanks a bunch for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, you should leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the end of video stuff. I'm going to go work on some other stuff. So until then, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.